Oh, yeah. Welcome to Wrestling Uncensored. I am Dave Simon. He is Johnny North. WrestlingUncensored.net is the website. You can catch us all over the place. Catch us online at WrestlingUncensored.net. We are here on your station talking professional wrestling. Whether you're listening in Montreal, in Peterborough, in Shanghai, we are all across the globe, Johnny North. And we have a lot of pro wrestling to get to, from world wrestling entertainment. All the best in the WWE is what we do here on Wrestling Uncensored. You can also check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ringsidereport.net. That's where you find all the programs from the Ringside Report Network at youtube.com/ringsidereport, DOTNET. Go to the channel, subscribe, like the video, leave a comment. And I want to see the comments this week on the big question that I'm going to ask Johnny North, and I'm going to ask the Wrestling Uncensored universe: should Daniel Bryan go to 205 Live? Should Daniel Bryan go to 205 Live? Leave your comments on the YouTube channel. Send me your comments at Dave Simon MMA on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow Johnny North at North Genesis on Twitter and Genesis Johnny North on Instagram. I want to tackle that on the show over the next hour. I also want to talk about John Cena not appearing, or potentially not appearing, Monday night at the Raw Reunion show. Many superstars of the past are going to be on Raw Monday night. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Booker T, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, among many others. The biggest stars in the history of the business, except for The Rock and John Cena, scheduled to appear on Raw Monday night. So we're going to talk about the Raw Reunion show. We'll try and figure out what they're going to do. And I also want to try and figure out where John Cena is. Why John Cena may or may not be on this show, and why. And what that means for the relationship between John Cena and the WWE, which I think is not as good as it could be or once was. We also have some matches official for Summerslam. WWE Extreme Rules went down this past Sunday. We covered that on the Extreme Rules post show, which you can check out on the YouTube channel right now. It's up on our website over at ringsidereport.net. You can watch the show to see our recap of Extreme Rules. We're moving forward now. We've got our eyes on SummerSlam coming up August 11th in Toronto. And a Canadian has a big-time match for that card. Nattie Neidhart, member of the Great Heart Wrestling family out of Calgary, she will be taking on the man Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's title. Nattie winning a controversial match this week on Raw that we'll talk about to become the number one contender for that title. Brock Lesnar will wrestle Seth Rollins for the Universal title. That one made official. And Ember Moon versus Bayley for the Smackdown Women's title, also made official this week in the WWE. But Johnny North, I want to start with the question of the show. Daniel Bryan, he was on SmackDown this week, supposed to make a major announcement that the New Day seemed to ruin. Daniel Bryan said he was going to make an announcement that was going to affect the future of his career and the WWE as a whole. It was going to change everything. A lot of people get worried when Daniel Bryan or the WWE make announcements like this, right? You think, uh-oh, is he hurt again? Is this another retirement speech? You start to worry. But it didn't seem like that's what it was, given how he said, how it was kind of said that Bryan has an announcement and it's going to change the WWE forever. Like, that didn't sound like a Daniel Bryan retirement speech. So right away, it didn't feel like that. But we never got to what it actually was. And it got me wondering, what it is, what it could be, and what it might be. And I'm wondering if Daniel Bryan may not go to 205 Live. And at this point, I don't know if it's the worst thing for him or for 205 Live. I think it would be the best thing for 205 Live. He is a tremendous wrestler. And I think if Daniel Bryan was on the show every week, he would elevate everybody else on the show, and it would make you tune in. I would watch if Daniel Bryan had his own show and it was 205 Live and he was the king of the show and he wrestled every week and he had great matches with the tremendous talent that is there. It would not only shine a light on that talent, but it would also allow Daniel Bryan to elevate an entire division, have fantastic matches, and have some creative freedom. Where right now, I thought they might do something with the tag team titles. He was talking a good game, talking about how he was going to elevate the tag team division and tag team wrestling as a whole. And if you look at AEW and what they're doing, who I believe is the WWE's main competitor right now, AEW is putting a lot of focus on the tag team division, and the WWE is not. The New Day became the new tag team champions, Big E and Xavier Woods. They won the titles. They took them from Bryan and Rowan with heavy machinery and a triple threat at Extreme Rules, right? Are the New Day really going to elevate the tag team division? Are the New Day really doing anything with those tag team titles other than being Kofi's guys who also happen to have belts? The New Day becoming tag team champions at this juncture, I think, only serve to elevate Kofi Kingston and elevate the group as a whole because they all have belts. They have belts because Kofi's a WWE champion.
It adds to the legacy, too. They've won the titles now 6 times. It shows you how great of a tag team they are, the fact they've won them so many times.
And they won them without Kofi.
That, too.
Sure. They're one of the greatest tag teams of all time. I'm not taking anything away from the New Day as a tag team. They are fantastic. But what Daniel Bryan was saying was true to a certain extent. They joke around a lot. They don't get that serious. And they haven't made it so that tag team wrestling is the focal point of any show. They are never the main event.
They're many times the best match on the show, though.
Sure, but they're never the main event, right? So tag team wrestling has not been to a point in the WWE where I think it could be. Like, we saw a great AEW show, Fight for the Fallen, and it was main evented by a tag team match. The Young Bucks versus the Rhodes Brothers. The Brotherhood, Cody and Dustin. That was good. That made sense. Their tag team division means a lot. That was a great match. They also had a triple threat tag team match with title implications, tag title tournament implications, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That was really solid stuff. AEW is putting a focus on the tag team division. I think the WWE should put more of a focus on the tag team division if they want to compete. There are great tag teams in the WWE, and the lack of focus on them is not only a discredit to them, but tag team wrestling as a whole. So, Daniel Bryan was trying to do something. They take the titles away from him. He can't do that thing that he was trying to do anymore. Let him try to do another thing. Give him the Cruiserweight division, give him the Cruiserweight Championship, have him elevate everybody there, elevate the Cruiserweight division, elevate 205 Live as a show, as a brand, elevate the title. I think it makes sense. I don't know what else there is for him to do. I don't see him as taking the WWE title away from Kofi Kingston anytime soon. I don't think he's going to be the guy to do it. So move on. Do something else. Daniel Bryan is a superstar. He loves the wrestling business. Make him useful. Because right now, he's not useful. And he's a very talented guy who could do a lot for the company, do a lot for professional wrestling. And he's the type of guy who I think would be willing to do that. I think he was one of the guys that was pushing for Mustafa Ali to move up. I think he's been one of the guys that's been pushing for a lot of the cruiserweights to move up from 205 Live onto the main roster. Because, they're the same size. So there's no reason why they shouldn't be on the main roster. There's so much talent in 205 Live. We saw Jack Gallagher wrestle Chad Gable this week.
It was a very good match.
And it was incredible. There's no reason why people shouldn't be paying attention to this stuff. And if Daniel Bryan's on the show, I think people start paying attention. So as big of a Daniel Bryan fan as I am, you might think that I'm the last guy to be saying this because I think Daniel Bryan should be main eventing every WrestleMania and WWE champion forever and the man, the guy forever.
Right.
As much as I believe that that is true, and if I were running the WWE, Bryan would be champion right now, and he would have never lost a Mania, and he would never, ever lose because he's the best wrestler in the world. But if the WWE is not going to treat him as such, let him do something else. Let him elevate a product. Let him elevate some really talented wrestlers, and let him be creative.
Like, I understand what you're trying to do with bringing Daniel Bryan to a failing brand to try to elevate everyone on the roster. It's just I feel that WWE's already moved on from 205. I've heard the rumors that 205 apparently by the end of this year will cease to exist, which makes sense if they have the Fox deal. How is 205 going to work?
I don't know.
Exactly. I feel like they've already given up on 205. And
Can it just be on the network?
It probably just will be for that time being.
Because people are saying NXT is going to be on, what, Fox Sports 1 or something?
Again, a lot of rumors, right? But
that's annoying for me. I don't have Fox Sports 1. I have the network. I want NXT on the network. Stop taking shows away from the network, WWE. Don't take NXT off the network. That's not a good idea.
I think if stuff like that happens, though, I could see, because for Canada, we'll probably get Sportsnet 360. They'll probably make sure they pick it up.
Just keep it on the network. It's easier. I can watch it on demand on the app. It's way better.
Well, it might get a little more complicated, unfortunately. But the main point is 205 might...
There goes NXT.
Well, 205 might be gone completely. So I don't think you put Daniel Bryan on this because they've already given up, I feel. If anything, I'd put him on NXT.
One last push for 205 Live.
I think they've given it so many pushes.
I wouldn't put him in NXT. I think that's demeaning.
I don't think so. I think you could do the whole message of he has to get WWE at its core, get it at its foundation, and they build up through NXT.
Change the world, change the business where it starts.
Yeah. I like it.
I guess. It would make NXT a must-watch show.
Well,
it's not something I watch every week, but if Daniel Bryan was on it, I would watch it every week.
I think it already is kind of must-see, but it just adds more to it. Adds to the tag team division.
Is it must-see?
I feel like a couple of matches.
You don't watch it every week.
The takeovers I watch all the time.
The takeovers, yeah. You watch every takeover, but do you watch NXT TV every week?
The problem is because they tape it, right? So then you know already in advance like what's probably going to happen. And you know what you should watch and shouldn't watch. And for the most part, every week that they show, it's just enhancement talent against a known guy or a known girl.
Sometimes they have good matches, though. I haven't seen the Matt Riddle match from this week in NXT, but he wrestled somebody. Huas?
Okay.
Somebody Huas?
I didn't see it.
His last name is Huas.
I know, I think it was Killian Dane beat him up after the match, and I guess that's going to be the match for TakeOver.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, I wasn't thinking Matt Riddle and him was going to be amazing, but I think it was probably the best match to TakeOver last time.
Riddle and Velveteen?
Riddle and Strong.
Oh, yeah, that was their match. Right.
That was fantastic.
That was the last TakeOver. That was very good. Matt Riddle's the best. He's my favorite guy in NXT right now.
I think Velveteen Dream's still my favorite, but Riddle's up there.
Riddle in the ring, I prefer. Velveteen, I think, has a really good gimmick, but Riddle, I think, is a better in-ring competitor.
I think it depends who both them wrestle. I feel the chemistry, like it really helps who they wrestle. They have it or they don't.
So Daniel Bryan to 205 Live. I say, good idea. Let's do it. Why not? Chad Gable, Jack Gallagher, so much talent down there. Oney Lorcan. Let's go. Put him in 205 Live. Let's make that watchable. I don't think you need to put him in NXT, but Johnny says put him in NXT. So neither of us really think he should be on SmackDown anymore. Is that the deal? Just give up?
Well, I think he should get another...
Give him the Universal title. What are you talking about? Give him the Universal title. Put him on Raw. Have him beat Brock. Let's go.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
That's what I would like to see.
I hope
if I were booking things, I would have Seth lose to Brock at SummerSlam, and then on the next pay-per-view, I would have Daniel Bryan beat Brock Lesnar.
I hope you and everyone else is ready because Brock Lesnar's champion again. So get ready because Brock's just going to dominate for probably up till WrestleMania again.
You don't think Seth is going to beat him at the Slam?
I definitely do not believe that's going to happen.
Yowie wowie, Johnny North.
Really? Like, you think Seth's going to win it back?
Well, how long is this Brock thing going to last? Are we really stuck in this Brock Lesnar cycle once again?
Yes, we are. Paul Heyman runs Raw. He even said it during the show.
He did. This is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. You think Brock Lesnar is going to be a part-time champion long-term here again till WrestleMania, April of 2020?
And it can work now.
It's July 2019, man. That's almost a year.
But you don't have to worry about not having a title match because wild card player, and then boom, you just have Kofi or whoever the WWE champion is on Raw, and you still get a title match. You can have Brock be gone. It's fine.
No. I don't think Brock Lesnar with the title until WrestleMania is a good idea.
I think Paul Heyman thinks it's a great idea.
Does he?
I don't think him coming back to cash in and then lose the next pay-per-view, I doubt Paul Heyman believes that's the idea.
Well, can Brock show up more often here on this run?
It'd be nice, right?
Because, like, it's ridiculous. He's not going to the UFC. We all know that.
He's not going to be on Raw next week.
No?
You don't think he's going to be at the Raw Reunion? He's not advertised.
I guess they don't need him. They got Stone Cold.
Well, they got everybody, right? Or no Brett, which sucks.
I thought I saw him advertised.
No, they saw Hart, but it's a trick. It's Jimmy Hart. It's not.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Bret Hart's not going to be there.
No.
Interesting. Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman cut a promo this week. Heyman talks about Brock winning the title at Extreme Rules. Heyman says he's got all the stroke around here right now. He says he's going to decide how they'll determine a number one contender for SummerSlam. They're going to do a Battle Royal tonight, a Superstar Battle Royal. Heyman says the UFC and Vince McMahon know Brock is not easy to negotiate with, and he holds all the cards, and da-da-da-da-da. Battle Royal later tonight. Then you have a 10-man Battle Royal. It's Seth Rollins getting the win over Big E, Cesaro, Bobby Lashley, Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, Baron Corbin, Sami Zayn, who resurfaced, right?
He replaced Daniel Bryan, who for some reason was not in the match.
Oh, he's just supposed to be in the match?
He was. He was advertised originally.
Interesting. So, Bryan not in the match. Sami Zayn was in there. Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton. I thought Randy was going to win there for a minute.
No, Randy's going for the WWE title, but, the second place person always seems to get the other title, right?
Makes sense. So it was Randy and Seth at the end. Randy gets hit with a curb stomp and gets tossed over the top rope to win the Battle Royal. It seemed like it was Roman, Braun, and Seth at the end, but Randy had rolled out of the ring and then came back when Seth had eliminated Braun and Roman kind of at the same time. And then Randy tried to be sneaky, but it didn't work. Seth Rollins. They had an opportunity to do something here. They had an opportunity to elevate any one of these guys for a match at SummerSlam that we've not seen before. Instead, they're giving us Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar, which was the match that we saw at WrestleMania.
Did you believe it was really going to be anything else? I think you said last week you thought it'd be Roman and Seth, so...
Yeah, I thought that they would give us a triple threat at SummerSlam, Roman, Seth, and Brock. Instead, it's just Seth and Brock one-on-one. I would have preferred the triple threat. It's something we haven't seen before, right? Have Roman, Seth, and Brock ever wrestled in a triple threat? I don't think so.
If you don't count the cash-in, they did at WrestleMania, I think, like 31 or something.
Yeah, but that wasn't a full-on advertised triple threat match.
Right.
Seth kind of came in midway towards the end and won, right?
Yeah.
So let's do a triple threat match. I think that's far more compelling than just Brock and Seth one-on-one because, like you're saying, I don't think Seth is going to win. Brock just won. Seth is really going to come back and win here at SummerSlam? For what? What was the point of all that? I don't think Seth wins at SummerSlam, but if Roman was in the match, I think Seth would have a better chance because I could see maybe Seth beats Roman or, they start a feud there. They do something between Roman and Seth. Maybe they set something up.
Right.
But I don't really see a point in Seth just beating Brock here again. It doesn't make sense. So I don't think they're going to do that. I think Brock probably wins. in which case I don't really care about this match. But if Roman were in it, I think he adds a variable that makes it far more compelling. And he could win. You know, you could see Roman winning. You could see Brock winning. You could see Seth winning. I think if Roman's in the match and it's a triple threat, there are more angles you can take this from. Whereas Seth Brock one-on-one, I think it's very down the middle. Brock wins. Let's all go home. Who cares?
Well, I feel it seems so far the way they're shaping up SummerSlam, when it comes to the championship matches, they keep it towards your own brand. So if you're going for a Raw championship, it's going to be a Raw challenger so far. So I feel that maybe Roman will face Kofi Kingston and maybe Randy Orton for the WWE title because he's on SmackDown. So that's why we're getting this Raw title match instead, I think.
Oh, Roman's on SmackDown?
Yeah. I know it might be a bit confusing for a lot of people, but he is a SmackDown guy.
Was he even on SmackDown this week?
He did the Town Hall thing with Shane. He got fined, apparently.
Yes, of course. He was on the Smackdown Town Hall. Shane McMahon decided to gather all the superstars on the stage, except for Kevin Owens because he's been banned from the arena.
They had the promo earlier to explain that.
Roman Reigns gets to the microphone because Shane's like, okay, tell me your grievances and we will speak. Roman Reigns talks and he says, I like the New Day barking, though. Did you hear the New Day? Roman Reigns comes and you could hear Woods, Big E, and Kofi saying, "Big dog." It was really good.
I'm not surprised.
It was really
I didn't
good.
hear it, but I'm not surprised.
I heard them. It was off mic, but I could hear them. It was very funny. Hearing the New Day bark for Roman. Roman kind of cracked a smile. It's good. Roman says no one in the room respects Shane and that he can kiss his bottom. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to stoop to the level of the WWE these days, cussing up a storm on their TV. But Roman says, mean things to Shane, and Shane's like, all right, next. Charlotte Flair thanks Shane McMahon and the McMahon family for treating her so well. And then Liv Morgan's like, Charlotte, you're such a phony. Is anything real about you? Kind of talking about her body and face, maybe. And Charlotte's like, who are you? Do you even still work here? And then Shane's like, you two are going to wrestle tonight. Move on. And then Buddy Murphy gets to the microphone, and he's like, Kevin Owens said, I'm never on TV, but I don't need Kevin Owens' help, and he better stop talking about me. And then Apollo Crews shows up, and he's like, everybody agrees with what Kevin Owens said last week. Well, why was Buddy Murphy there just like dismissing Shane or dismissing Kevin, saying like, I'm on your team, Shane, but still barely getting TV time?
Because at the end, when they had Kevin versus Dolph Ziggler, Buddy Murphy came out as like one of the helpers.
One of Shane's henchmen jobbers.
Exactly. So that's why that happened.
That's a good spot for him, is it?
It's better than
him
nothing.
And Shelton Benjamin as one of the random jobber henchmen.
It's better than nothing. He had nothing before, right? So.
I guess it's a step above being in No Way Jose's conga line. Just barely, though. Just barely. So that doesn't make sense there with Buddy Murphy. He's like mad that Kevin Owens is saying he deserves more TV time. Kevin Owens last week is like, Buddy Murphy's really good. You should put him on TV instead of Shane. And Buddy Murphy's like, this week, shut up, Kevin Owens. I don't need your help. And I was like, what? Come on, dude. Zelina Vega and Andrade tell Apollo to shut up, and he's just trying to kiss up to the WWE Universe. And Charlotte's in the background, obviously loving when Andrade is talking. She was like, big smile, loving every minute of it.
Glowing.
Put them together on TV. That's all I'm saying. They would be money. It would work. And then Elias starts to talk, and he says he's the greatest acquisition in SmackDown history. And then Big E says Elias is the biggest S expletive in SmackDown history. A lot of swear words being tossed out in this SmackDown Town Hall. We're trying to get edgy here. It's not really working. Kofi Kingston gets to the microphone and says, we don't like Kevin Owens. We remember what he did to us.
Good.
But we do like what he said last week. Kofi says it took too long for him to get a WWE title shot, and then his mic gets cut off, and Shane's like, all right, Town Hall's over. And then everybody leaves, except Cesaro for some reason. And he's like, by the way, I'm a wild card tonight. It's like, okay, you're on Raw or SmackDown? What show are you on anyways? No one knows anymore. And he's like, I want to challenge Aleister Black to pick a fight with me. That's the thing he keeps saying. And then he has another match with Aleister Black. He lost at Extreme Rules, and then he loses again to Aleister Black on SmackDown. I'm not really sure what the point of any more Cesaro-Aleister Black matches are if Alistair just keeps winning, I think that's over with, right? Right?
Yeah, I would think so. I think it was just to give it a rematch, just to fill TV.
Anyways, so Kevin Owens shows up at the end of this whole promo, and he attacks Shane McMahon. Does the kick. Shane falls, botches the stunner,
Right.
and then Shane has to get picked back up, hit with a stunner, and he falls back down. Oh, boy, Shane. Like,
well, it
come
happened
on.
too at Extreme Rules with The Undertaker when Taker went for the Tombstone. Shane jumped too quickly.
He just fell.
And he just fell. So, yeah.
And here he jumped way too fast for the stunner. That was not good.
Well, I think because he did it from the past experiences, right? Where I think Austin was super quick with it, and I guess he went off that. So that's
You're
why.
making excuses for Shane botching a stunner?
Yep.
Like, how hard is that?
It can be actually pretty hard.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Give me a stunner now. I'll take it, no problem. I'll take it like The Rock did. And I'm not a wrestler. I'm not a McMahon either. So I'm not on TV. Unlike Shane, who's not a wrestler, but is a McMahon. So he is on TV.
Shane was always good taking the stunner and having the beer fly from his mouth. He was very good at pulling that off.
Yes, he was. 20 years ago. So Shane McMahon takes another stunner from Kevin Owens, and then Dolph Ziggler's like, hey, Shane, let me get revenge on Kevin Owens. Let me have another match with him. Bring him back to the arena. So Shane's like, okay. And then there's a match, and Dolph Ziggler actually beats Kevin Owens by countout after Shane McMahon pulls Kevin Owens out of the ring. Kevin hits a stunner on Shane, then runs away.
Well, because there's a swarm of people around
A giant crew of heels. Shane McMahon brought a job squad to the ring, and Shane McMahon gets pulled out of the ring. It looks like Kevin Owens looks like he's going to get attacked by Shane and his job squad, but instead Kevin hits a stunner on Shane and then just runs, so the match ends. And then Shane's interviewed after the match, and he's like, Kevin Owens is going to pay. He's going to pay. And then Kayla, who was interviewing Shane, she gets pushed by Shane. Shane pushed her arm aside, and the crowd was like, ooh. And it was a little aggressive there. Shane McMahon pushing interviewer Kayla. I thought that was a little uncalled for by Shane. I guess he's a heel and he's supposed to do these things, but I don't know. I didn't like that too much as a way to end SmackDown and get heat on Shane.
Well, I think it's also because it kind of ends flat, right? Just with a promo like that. So it was actually to give it something. Maybe some shock value that, I guess in your view, didn't really work well.
It was a little aggressive.
That was shocking, though, that he would do that.
Yeah. Unnecessary, though. Like Baron Corbin attacking Becky Lynch at Extreme Rules makes sense because Becky kind of attacked Baron Corbin, right?
Yes.
So, a little retribution. They're in a match against each other. It's Extreme Rules. It's a mixed tag match. You can't get disqualified. That makes sense. But Shane McMahon, one of the McMahons, a leader of the company, pushing one of the interviewers, pushing her hand away, I thought that was a bit out of line.
Okay, fine. You believe that.
I didn't like it.
I think it just added to the fact that Shane's a jerk, and you want to hate Shane. You want to see him get beat up.
Sure. And Kevin Owens should be the man to beat up Shane McMahon. I think Kevin Owens, Shane McMahon, one-on-one at SummerSlam will be the match, right? It's in Toronto, Kevin Owens' home country of Canada. Makes a lot of sense for him to go up against Shane.
Won't be an easy match, though, because Shane, besides the loss at Extreme Rules, has beaten guys like Roman Reigns. Shane won a lot of matches. He won at WrestleMania this year, which I don't think he's ever done in years. So it's quite spectacular what Shane's done so far this year.
Does Kevin Owens beat him at SummerSlam?
I hope so. I mean, if they're really going all out with this Kevin Owens push, he kind of has to.
Yeah.
But we've seen it time and time before where you think they're pushing somebody and then they don't.
It seems like they're doing something with Kevin Owens. How far it goes, I'm not too sure, but I think in Canada against Shane McMahon, he's going to have a really good chance at a victory.
I hope so. They like to screw over Canadians, too, though. They always love to throw in the Montreal screw job out of nowhere.
Yes, maybe that'll happen for Nattie. She's a Canadian who's going to have a big match in Canada at SummerSlam. That made official on Raw this week. I want to talk about Raw. A big superstar may be leaving the company for at least a couple of months. We'll talk about that when we come back. A short pause here on the radio side. It is Wrestling Uncensored. Stay with us. And we're back. Welcome back. It's Wrestling Uncensored. I'm Dave Simon. He is Johnny North. WrestlingUncensored.net is the website. We are here on the radio for you, talking professional wrestling each and every week, giving you the best in the WWE. Extreme Rules went down last week. We are on the road to WWE Summerslam. Nattie, Natalya Neidhart, winning a big match on Raw this week to become the number one contender for Becky Lynch and the Raw Championship. Nattie beating Alexa Bliss, Naomi, and Carmella in a fatal four-way elimination match to become the number one contender. Nattie made Alexa tap out to the sharpshooter for the win. Always like seeing people tap out to sharpshooters in the middle of the ring, especially done by Harts, member of the Hart family. Always nice to see. Alexa Bliss had eliminated Carmella with a roll-up after Carmella had super kicked Naomi and Nattie, and Naomi hit a really nice blockbuster on Nattie off the steps, one of the highlights of this match that I thought was quite good.
Up to a point.
I don't know. I enjoyed the match. People were booing it. People were saying it was a terrible match. I thought it was good. Nattie won. I always like to see Nattie win big matches. It's always a surprise. She seems to never win. You know, it's very, very rare at least that she does. I'm happy to see Nattie get a big win and then a big match with Becky Lynch at SummerSlam that I know will be great because Becky and Nattie are two fantastic wrestlers. Becky getting a really good opponent this time to go in there and show what she can really do. I don't know why people were so hard on this match. I thought it was very good.
I think the problem, mainly for the live crowd, was the fact that you saw 2 commercial breaks. This match was the longest match of the whole show, 24 minutes. And it started off some great spots back and forth, but then you have the commercial break. Nothing happens during the commercial break. It's just no wrestling, no action.
Yeah, well, that's, I guess it came off better on TV. The live crowd was really hard on it, saying this is awful. All sorts of chants. Alexa Bliss was mad about it. She needs to...
She's a heel, though, so it's fine.
Yeah, but it wasn't really a heel way she was doing it. I don't know.
Well, a lot of it was against her, too, because she just kept putting on a rest hold after you saw all this action. And then it's like rest hold. And, after 2 commercial breaks and you see something like that, I can understand why people were upset.
Alexa's bit of the match wasn't the best bit of the match, right? I think Naomi and Nattie were kind of the stars of the show.
Right. Agreed, yeah.
People were giving a lot of heat to Alexa Bliss. She didn't like it. She tweeted out that it was just disrespectful. And then she says, we encourage reactions, cheering and booing and chants. We don't encourage people to be rude. So, saying you suck to Alexa Bliss and saying this is awful. Apparently, you're not allowed to do that. I disagree. I think if you're bad, if you suck, and the crowd is there paying money to see you, and they're chanting that at you, whether it's true or not, you have to deal with it as a professional wrestler. John, you're a wrestler. People have said all sorts of mean things to you, I'm sure, as a dastardly heel that you are. Is there a limit? I think the limit is when you do anything from a physical side or use language that may be, insensitive as far as, maybe you're cursing or you're using racial slurs or slurs of any nature. I think that's unfair and you shouldn't do that. But to say you suck to a wrestler or this is awful to a match, I don't think is crossing the line in any kind of way.
Well, in her logic, you can't even say boring. You can't chant that because apparently that's rude, I guess, right?
Right. But I thought the match was good. Like, I watched Chad Gable and Jack Gallagher, which was one of the greatest matches you'll see all month, maybe all year in the WWE, on 205 Live this week, and people were chanting CM Punk and boring during that.
Well, they also understand they've watched SmackDown for the live crowd.
Sure.
And then they
it's a long night, and I get it, but sometimes the crowd isn't going to react the way you want them to. It's your job as a wrestler to bring them in and get them to react the way that they should.
Right.
Like, if Alexa Bliss doesn't like the way the crowd is chanting, she's not doing her job correctly. It's your job to hold the crowd in the palm of your hand. And if you can't do that, then you are not the best professional wrestler. That's all it is. Like, if you're really good, if you're really over, the crowd will pay attention to you and treat you with respect. Sometimes they won't, but it's your job to bring them back. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. You just have to realize, too, where you're at. This was New York.
Long Island, yeah.
It's a tough crowd. It's not easy.
Tough crowd. So do your best.
I think they tried.
I think the match was good. I think it was good. But, like, if the live crowd didn't like it, it's up to Alexa Bliss and the rest of the women in the match to do something about it. I'm not sure what they could have done. I think they did a really good job. But, you know, get on the microphone during the commercial breaks. Rile them up. Get some heat. Do something.
Well, they had Nikki Cross go on the mic. It seemed like that was inaudible.
Yeah, Nikki Cross went on the mic. That didn't help.
No, but I think it was just people were reacting at that point. You just kind of go with it because you have something. People are very vocal, so
yeah,
make the most of it.
Yeah. But I thought the match was good. Like, I thought people online were saying, oh, it's one of the worst matches ever. What's going on? I was like, really?
Oh, it's nowhere nearly as bad as Bayley versus Alexa Bliss in that, like, pole or kendo stick match they had or something.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
that was horrible.
There have been way worse matches. I thought there were worse matches on Raw this week than that. Were there? Maybe not.
Maybe not, but
maybe
regardless,
not.
Like, it wasn't as bad as people made it seem.
Nah, Raw was actually pretty decent. I don't think there were worse matches than that on Raw this week. What did we have on Raw? We had Seth Rollins winning the Battle Royal. Let's take a look at the top of the show. Usos and Ricochet beating Revival and Bobby Roode in a 2 out of 3 falls match. I thought that was solid.
Yeah, it was all right.
Viking Raiders beating 2 jobbers in a squash match. Seemed all right. You know, it was fine for what it was. Cedric Alexander beat Drew McIntyre. That was decent and a big surprise for the finish, right? Cedric won.
Yeah, didn't see that coming.
I think it's the start of the D-push for Drew. I think that's what's happening right now. Samoa Joe beats Finn Balor with a nice crucifix pin. Short match, but I thought what it was pretty good. So maybe that 4-way was the worst match on Raw. Raw was pretty good, though, I guess. Match-wise, you had the Club beating the Lucha House Party, AJ and the Good Brothers.
That was amazing. The bump Ricochet took off the phenomenal forearm. Incredible.
When was that?
I think it was after the match was over.
After Ricochet's match was over.
Oh, yeah, because Ricochet came in, yeah.
Yeah, Ricochet did it because the Club, they were ringside watching the match.
Right.
And then Ricochet did a dive on them, and the Usos helped Ricochet take them out a bit. And then Ricochet made the save, but then he got taken out by the phenomenal forearm and then the Magic Killer from the Good Brothers. So the Ricochet AJ Styles thing is definitely not over.
Oh, SummerSlam, I think it's more than likely going to happen. Hopefully a ladder match. I think it could be one of the best matches you ever see.
That would be amazing.
Of course.
Ricochet, AJ Styles, ladder match for the U.S. title. Book that, please.
I'm a little disappointed so far with the SummerSlam card, but that would be the match to watch for at least the 7-hour event.
Now, how about Zack Ryder beating Mike Kanellis? That wasn't really a match, right? That was a Rough Rider, 1 move, 1, 2, 3. Mike Kanellis loses again. Maria cuts a promo on him, and she's like, you should have let me wrestle. I wanted to wrestle this match, but you wouldn't let me because I'm pregnant. She's like, I could have done a better job than you did. She says her unborn child had a better chance at winning than Mike Kanellis, and she's not even sure if he's the father of her baby. Yeah, I'm not so into this whole story.
Okay,
Are you?
Maria's a horrible person. That's all I get, and you should feel bad for Mike Kanellis.
Yeah, I kind of do feel bad for Mike Kanellis. They continued it, too. They had a little promo, Mike Kanellis and Drake Maverick on 205 Live. They're going to wrestle each other. They're both having wife problems, right? Drake Maverick with his wife, trying to constipate his marriage. Or at least that's what R-Truth thought it was.
Right.
That was one of the highlights of Raw.
That was one of the lowlights of Raw.
Really?
You saw Drake Maverick with only wearing the title? That was horrible. I didn't want to see that.
He was wearing underwear underneath the championship. It wasn't a nude Drake Maverick.
I still didn't want to just see that.
You didn't like that part of Raw? I thought that was good. Drake Maverick and his wife check into a hotel to consummate their marriage, which they still haven't done because Drake Maverick has been consumed with holding the 24/7 championship. R-Truth is creeping around the hotel with a referee, and then they finally show up. They're in the hotel, and they're about to consummate the marriage. The wife is in lingerie. Drake Maverick is wearing nothing but the championship, or so it appears.
Right.
Room service arrives, and his wife says, "Oh, it's the champagne." They open the door. Room service guy reveals himself. He's a referee. Drake Maverick recognizes him. And then R-Truth comes out from under the room service cart, of course, rolls him up. 1, 2, Maverick kicks out. And then R-Truth does a crossbody onto the bed, onto Drake Maverick for the 1, 2, 3. R-Truth gets his TV 24/7, 365 hardcore title back.
Hardcore
European Championship. He celebrates and tells them he hopes that they're not constipated anymore. And he runs out of the hotel with the referee and his championship in tow. Drake Maverick down to his tighty whities and no 24/7 title and an angry wife and no consummated marriage. I know it's silly. I know I should probably hate it, but I liked it. R-Truth and Drake Maverick are pulling it off. They're good. They're talented. They're funny guys. And I hope we see a new 24/7 champion this Monday night on Raw, because I know that the funniest guy in the history of professional wrestling will be showing up to Monday Night Raw. My man, Canada's own Santino Marella.
Well, I think the 24/7 title may have already changed hands, because
Really?
R-Truth mentioned that, or Carmella told Truth that he should go hide at the San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh.
So I think that was done because they've clearly filmed a segment there, and I imagine you're going to see it on Raw.
Wow. So perhaps there's been a title change already that we're unaware of. Secret title changes happening for the 24/7 title. Don't you think Santino would fit in really well with Truth and Drake Maverick, though?
I expect that a lot of the legends would work very well.
That's true. Do you think maybe we get to see like Stone Cold Steve Austin become 24/7 champion on Raw? That would be cool. Could we end Raw with somebody like, Triple H or something with the 24/7 title?
Well, you're thinking too high. I'm thinking like Pat Patterson, Gerald Briscoe, how they used to like battle each other for the hardcore title. I'm thinking stuff like that.
That makes sense. Ric Flair? Give Ric Flair another title run, brother.
Yeah, that'd be kind of ridiculous, but sure, why not?
It's the type of championship anybody can win, because all you have to do is be able to roll somebody up. You don't have to wrestle a match. You don't have to do anything. Hulk Hogan could win this title on Monday night, brother.
Thing is, Hogan would have to lose it back, so I think there'd be a lot of problems. So you don't want to go down that route.
Yeah, because then Hogan's like, "No, I'm not feeling that, brother. Drake Maverick. I'm not losing to Drake Maverick, brother." Hogan, who will you lose to? Braun Strowman. It's like, what? SummerSlam, Braun Strowman, Hulk Hogan. Yeah, that's money. I mean,
it's not gonna happen.
Hogan's hip would like explode, but let's try it anyways.
It won't happen, but okay.
What do you think will happen at the Raw Reunion show on Monday night?
Beer bash?
Steve Austin beer bash? Stunners? Stone Cold and Kevin Owens team up to stun some McMahons, maybe?
That sounds about right.
That'd be fun. I'd like to see Stone Cold and Kevin Owens do dual stunners. But I don't want to see Austin stun KO at the end of it, because that's not right. They probably would do that, but that would just take away from Kevin Owens. Please don't do that.
No, I don't think they'll do that. Not at least for the TV crowd, anyways.
Yeah, but you wouldn't put it past them to do that, though, right?
Oh, again, when the cameras go off, I could see them do it.
Right. So, Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, Triple H. I'm assuming some sort of DX thing with Shawn Michaels and Triple H, some silly skit, right?
Apparently, full DX is going to be there.
Not Billy Gunn.
Yeah, I know. It's weird that they said full DX. And it's like, what? Billy Gunn's going to be there? But
Well, Billy Gunn works for AEW backstage. I doubt he's going to be there, but he was at the Hall of Fame, so I guess you never know. There was word that they asked Jim Ross to be on this show, and he declined.
Right.
But, he works for AEW. You want him on the show? That's weird. Is the WWE even aware that JR works for the competition?
I imagine they do.
Why don't they just invite Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega to the show, too?
Well, that was my first complaint when I saw this Raw reunion. It's like, where's Jericho?
He's in AEW.
Yeah, well, it's too bad. I want him at the Raw reunion.
Well, my first complaint when I saw this was, where's John Cena? John Cena was the face of the company for a decade. He was the biggest star they had, one of the biggest stars they've ever had. And he's not on this thing?
He's filming a movie.
Is he?
Yeah, the Fast and Furious 9.
So he's busy.
He could potentially be at this Raw show, they say, but, maybe there's a conflict with his schedule, so.
It could have happened, but it's not happening, and I wonder why. And as this Cena WWE separation continues, I wonder what the story is with John Cena and what his future is with the WWE. What does the John Cena story look like in the next 5 to 10 years? And how does the WWE portray John Cena? And how do they use John Cena? Because I think they could have used him as Kurt Angle's final opponent at WrestleMania. I think they should have done that. I know that Angle wanted it, and I know that Cena wanted it, and the WWE decided to give it to Baron Corbin.
Who's still there. So I get it.
Who's useless.
Who's been in the main events the last couple pay-per-views.
Who's useless.
I think he's more useful than Cena right now.
Where will he be in 5 years? You think he'll still be in the WWE in the next 5 years?
I could see him sign a long contract because they're doing that now, right?
Braun
Strowman's going to be there for the next 5 years. He just signed a new contract.
I thought he signed a 4-year deal.
Okay. But he'll still be there for 5 years. I doubt he'll leave right away.
Okay. You think Baron Corbin is a future WWE Hall of Famer?
If Coco Beware's in the Hall of Fame, I could see Baron Corbin in the Hall of Fame.
By God, Johnny North. Baron Corbin apologist over here. I don't know why.
Great song.
Do you think Baron Corbin was the right opponent for Kurt Angle at WrestleMania to retire the great Kurt Angle?
Yes.
I disagree.
I think we've had this discussion already.
I think it should have been Cena. I know Cena wanted it. I don't know why the WWE didn't give it to Cena. I think that would have been a more fitting end to Kurt Angle's career. They didn't go there. Most people disagree with you, John. Okay, most people in the wrestling world were disgusted that it was Baron Corbin and remain just baffled that the WWE actually did that. They did it, and John Cena wasn't used. I think a few years ago, John Cena would be used. I think the WWE feels a little bit slighted by John Cena, that maybe he's choosing outside opportunities over them. And I don't know, but I find it very, very strange that he's not showing up on Raw once again. I think that there's something going on there, and we're going to continue to see it. And I wouldn't be surprised if John Cena shows up in AEW or another wrestling company just for a big shock. Like, that wouldn't be a huge surprise to me, because I think it would be wise for another company to go look for a guy like John Cena, and John Cena would be willing to make those kinds of appearances, because it seems like the WWE doesn't really want to use John Cena in any kind of major way. And that's weird for me, considering who he is and how big he was for them for so long.
Right, but
like, they're using Hogan and Austin, and they're not using Cena. Like, something's missing here, guys.
No, but that's what kind of makes sense. They're using so many people, and you're also going to use John Cena. It's too, star stacked already. To also have Cena on the show, it's too much. And maybe he recognizes that, where it's like, if I'm not going to have a big part in the show, I'm just going to be another one of the guys. Why should I even be there?
I don't know. Hogan's there, Flair's there, Shawn's there, Austin's there.
Bigger stars, in my opinion.
In your opinion.
You don't think Hogan?
Different generations.
Steve Austin?
Different generations.
I think a lot of people will say Austin over Cena any day.
A lot of people grew up with John Cena that did not grow up with Steve Austin.
It's true.
Don't forget, 20-year-olds, they don't know Steve Austin. They know John Cena.
No, the network, everyone knows everyone now. It's fine.
I guess, but they're not as familiar. People grew up during the Cena era, and now it's a Raw Reunion show and John Cena's not there. I think is a little suspicious.
I think Cena worries about Cena.
When does Cena come back?
WrestleMania? He was at WrestleMania.
Just for an appearance.
Right. That's all he's got to do. That's all he really wants to do at this point. He doesn't need to get hurt. He has a movie career to worry about. Cena worries about Cena, and that's it.
John Cena worries about John Cena. I find it strange that he's not at the Raw Reunion show. Very strange.
WWE survived before him and survive after him.
Of course. You know, he doesn't stop it, but, you know, he was a big star for their show, and I'm surprised that on this big show where they're bringing back everybody, that he's not one of the guys that they are bringing back. I'm most excited to see Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think it's no secret here on this show that I'm a huge Stone Cold Steve Austin fan. I love seeing the Texas Rattlesnake, the Bionic Redneck, the BMF, Mr. Hell Yeah himself, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yeah, I'm getting hyped up just talking about him, just giving out his nicknames. I'm getting hyped to see Stone Cold. I grew up on Stone Cold Steve Austin. I love the guy. I also grew up on Hulk Hogan, and I love that guy too. So I'm hyped to see those guys. Those are my two of my favorites of all time, right? If you're a wrestling fan, it's hard not to be totally enamored with Stone Cold and Hulk Hogan. And brother, they're both going to be on the show Monday night. That's a reason to tune into Raw. I'm excited for Raw. Like, Steve Austin and Hulk Hogan are going to be on Raw. That's enough, man. That's enough.
It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. These Raw reunion kind of things are always usually a lot of fun. However, it's where you go from here kind of thing. It's like, what can you do off these guys' appearances?
Oh, probably nothing.
Well, that's kind of a shame then. It's kind of a waste in a sense. Like, okay, you get one good Raw, but you have to think about long-term here. And I would think Paul Heyman's already thought about this.
Well, I'm excited to see what they do. Maybe they'll start incorporating some of these guys into more storylines going forward. Not as wrestlers necessarily, but, you know, whatever.
Well, I think it's just to give a rub to the new generation, like Austin with Kevin Owens would be great. Ric Flair, I guess, with Charlotte. It's been done before, but you can do it again. It's fine.
Give Nate a short run during Raw of the 24/7 title and then have everybody chasing Ric Flair.
No, I don't want to see that.
You don't want to see that? That would be hilarious. Ric Flair wins the 24/7 title. He rolls up R-Truth. And then, like, all of Raw, there's just little vignettes of Ric Flair running away from the job mob. You know, he's, like, talking to some ladies. He's got the title. He's, like, styling and profiling. Then all of a sudden, you know, Drake Maverick sees him, and Flair's like, oh, gotta go. And then he's running off. And then by the end of the night, like, Flair's doing something, and, you know, maybe Charlotte rolls him up, and she takes the title from him. And then R-Truth rolls up. And then Carmella rolls up Charlotte, and then R-Truth rolls up Carmella, and boom, we're back to where we started, and you move along. Come on, man. Give a legend the 24/7 title on Monday night. I think Ric Flair running from everybody would be funny. Flair's funny. I like comedic Flair. What else are you going to do with him? Have Batista beat him up again? Come on.
Well, going back to that Triple H Batista thing, him doing that run-in, it seemed like it was really rough for him just standing. It seemed like Triple H was helping him stand as they walked to the back. So I feel him... You say him running, I'd fear for my life if he's doing something like that.
Okay, well then Shawn Michaels. Replace everything I said with Shawn Michaels.
Shawn's the commentator, apparently. He'll be the commentator on SmackDown.
Why?
I guess apparently he's going to be the guest commentator for whatever reason.
Oh, you know, I think...
yeah, he's a horrible commentator.
Going to be a lot of...
he's a terrible commentator.
And you know, Shawn Michaels...
so bad. I don't know why they're doing it, but I guess they don't like Byron Saxton so much.
You know, I don't know.
He's bad.
It's my Shawn Michaels impression. What do you think?
It's pretty much spot on when it comes to commentary.
That's pretty much what he does, right? Okay, finally, I wanted to get to Finn Balor, who took a beating from Bray Wyatt. So Finn loses to Samoan Joe, and then Bray Wyatt attacked him. And, yeah, Bray Wyatt's on Raw now. He appeared, finally. That was cool. He's got his little mask.
He's the Fiend.
What do you mean?
That's what they called him, the Fiend.
The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, or
Yeah.
just the Fiend?
I guess it's going to be the Fiend Bray Wyatt.
Okay.
They mentioned he was Bray Wyatt.
And apparently Finn Balor's taking some vacation. He's banged up. He wants to recharge his battery, so he's going to be off for a couple months, and that was a way to write off Finn.
Well,
Maybe he comes back as the Demon. Demon versus Fiend. Bray versus Finn.
Could see that, yeah, sure. Well, Nakamura's already moved on too, so it just makes sense. You don't have anything else for Finn, so he should just take time off.
Nakamura has moved on to Ali.
Seems like it.
Ali interrupted Shinsuke's backstage promo on SmackDown. Shinsuke, interestingly enough, says he is free to rain down chaos on the whole universe. Chaos.
Right.
One of the lesser-known New Japan factions that Shinsuke Nakamura was a founding member of.
Yeah, well, he's not bringing them in.
He's not the Bullet Club. He's not Los Ingobernables de Japón. He's in Chaos. And every time Nakamura says Chaos, Finn Balor talked about Nakamura and said something about Chaos a couple weeks ago in a promo. It gets me excited just to hear, like, oh, Chaos. What's he talking about? Is he going to bring in Kushida? I think Kushida was in Chaos, too.
Okay, that's
Okada?
nice.
Is Okada coming to the WWE? Mind blown.
I don't think it's happening, but
I don't think Okada's coming to the WWE, but, he's one of the best talents in the world. It would be massive for them to get him. It would be huge.
he's the champ, though. He's not leaving.
He is the champ of New Japan. I don't think he's leaving. However, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that one day we see Okada wrestle in a promotion that is not New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Well, I feel like he's wrestled Ring of Honor. Has he
No,
not?
I mean, like, he's wrestled in Impact, too. But
Yeah.
I think, like, he might leave New Japan like Nakamura has done
Oh, okay.
and go to either AEW or WWE. I think Okada will wrestle full-time in the States one day.
All right. That'd be fun.
I think he will. He speaks English. He could do it, and he's the man. He's big, too.
He's very
My
good.
goodness. If you're not familiar with Kazuchika Okada, get familiar. Shinsuke Nakamura, very familiar with him. He's the new Intercontinental Champion. Finn Balor, he knows Okada, too. Finn's going to be taking some time off. Speaking of Japanese wrestling, the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane finally got their title shot against the Iconics for the women's tag team titles, but they won by countout, so the Iconics retain the titles. Asuka and Kairi beat up Billy and Peyton after the match. I think we probably see this as a title match or SummerSlam, right? A rematch. Maybe some sort of gimmick match where it's falls count anywhere, or if the Iconics get counted out or disqualified, they still lose the title, something like that, to make sure they don't lose but still hold the titles.
Well, I think they're just dragging this out because I think eventually Charlotte is going to have a partner to take them out as tag team champions, so they're waiting for that to build up. So that's why we're not seeing the Kabuki Warriors as champions right away.
You think Charlotte eventually is going to challenge who? Billy and Peyton?
No, I think we'll challenge the Kabuki Warriors once they win the tag team titles, but you got to wait for that to happen. And in the meantime, I think we're going to see a transformation of Liv Morgan because she lost to Charlotte, right?
Right.
And I think she might become like, a mini Charlotte.
Yeah, she did say, oh, Charlotte was right. I'm going to change, da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, I think she's going to be mini Charlotte now.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Charlotte as tag team champion, I definitely see that happening.
You know what's a better move for Charlotte as tag team champion? You know who's a better partner for Charlotte?
Lacey Von Erich?
No. Zelina Vega.
I guess.
Zelina, Charlotte, Andrade, Aleister Black. Make them all one crew. Have Charlotte and Zelina as the tag team champions. You could give Aleister or Andrade the Intercontinental title or the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. Hey. What else are Andrade and Aleister Black really doing?
Well, Andrade's losing to Apollo Crews on SmackDown, so
Yeah, that's not so good.
I wouldn't think about pushing Andrade anytime soon. He has lost like pretty much all his matches recently.
Well, make him a tag team wrestler then. What are you waiting for? Come on, let's do something here. Let's do something interesting. You see the way Charlotte was looking at Andrade on TV, on SmackDown? That was a moment. I want to see more of that. I like Charlotte and Andrade together. I think they're a good couple, and they would be cool on TV together. And I think Charlotte and Zelina would be an awesome tag team.
Maybe you're right, but
I'm right. I am right.
I feel like they've maybe invested something in Liv Morgan because they're doing something with her, right? So,
Meh. I think they could do something with her, but as a babyface, not as a mini Charlotte, because that only goes so far.
well, Dana Brooke, right?
Yeah. How'd that work out for Dana Brooke as the mini Charlotte? Not too good. Whenever you're just like the sidekick of somebody, chances are you don't do so well afterwards. Take Damian Sandow as Mizdow or Alex Riley as Other Miz.
Miz sidekicks are terrible, but
Miz sidekicks never work out. How about the B team? How'd they work out after the Miz?
they got the tag team titles actually on Raw.
And then what?
And then nothing.
Short run and then boom, boom, gone. Johnny North, we got to be gone. We are overtime here. When is your next match? When can people see you in the ring?
It's going to be August 3rd in Granby. It's going to be a camping show. More information next week on Wrestling Uncensored.
Okay, so this is August 3rd in Granby, Quebec. right?
Correct.
We got to be more specific here because we're on all over the place, Johnny North.
Oh, that's correct.
Right?
Yeah. There's more Granbys in the world. Yeah.
That's right. So Granby, Quebec on August 3rd. If you want to make the trip to go see Johnny North, you can camp out
Yep.
and watch the wrestling show.
That's correct.
That's pretty cool.
It'll be a
So
hot
you
day, I
want
imagine.
to have a little vacation, a little wrestle vacation, camp out in Granby, Quebec, go to the Granby Zoo, and then go watch Johnny North wrestle. The real animal of Granby.
I've heard the zoo's very good.
Yeah, who doesn't love a zoo? So go watch Johnny North. For more info on that, go to his Instagram at Genesis Johnny North or his Twitter at North Genesis. You could follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Dave Simon MMA. And you can check out our YouTube channel. Go subscribe to the channel right now. Like the video. Leave a comment. Should Daniel Bryan go to 205 Live? I want to hear from you this week, and we will read your comments on next week's episode of Wrestling Uncensored, youtube.com/ringsidereport.net. Go to our website, wrestlinguncensored.net, for more information on all of that. I want to thank everyone for listening and for watching this show, which you can watch as well on the YouTube channel, Wrestling Uncensored, Dave and Johnny Live, where we talk about All Elite Wrestling. We have Ringside Report, where we do the MMA thing. We talk about the UFC Thursday nights at 8 p.m. We go live on YouTube for that one. Check it out all the time on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ringsidereport.net. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. For Big Johnny, I'm Dave, and this has been Wrestling Uncensored. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.